10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All systems go.
You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by.
On the morning shift.
Anything
Could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. Glad to be here with you. Thankful that you're here with us on this March the 2nd, Monday, March the 2nd, 2026, right here in Greater Sudbury. We're live on CKLU 96.7 FM on the radio. We're also streaming live on the internet at cklu.ca. We just had a pledge week a couple weeks back and came in right around the $5,000 mark, and we were very happy with that. We're very grateful for all of those who made donations. Thankful to those who wanted to make their donations through myself, and I was really privileged for that, and grateful for everyone who just came to the table and helped CKLU in their pledge week. So thank you very much, guys, for that. And looking forward to hopefully another year of CKLU here in Greater Sudbury. And hopefully it will continue as long as we continue here in Greater Sudbury to be a city. We want to be part of that city. We want to give people the opportunity to serve their community through this outlet, this platform, if you will. So if you have an idea for a show, you want to email the GM of the station, Rob Strawn. You just email gm@cklu.ca. If you have an idea for a show, you pitch him on that. And even if you don't have an idea for a show, but you still want to help out, and you have some type of knowledge in computers, or you want to get into broadcasting for some reason. I'm not sure why you'd want to, because the industry is definitely, if you're going to get into it, you're going to probably just want to volunteer doing it. And so you can pretend you're, doing it as a living, kind of like I'm doing, and still do it anyways, but just not make any money at doing it and not doing it as a living. But you can still do it, and if you like it and it's your passion and you want to contribute here at CKLU, you just email Rob, gm@cklu.ca, and you're off to the races. We're streaming live. We're streaming at cklu.ca too. If you click on the Radio Player Canada app, you can stream us. Download that same Radio Player Canada app, and you can take us with you and listen to us anywhere, anytime, on your favorite device. Also, streaming live at Facebook everywhere in the world except for Sudbury and Canada due to the government legislations prohibiting federal government policy, the liberal federal government policies prohibiting news from being posted or shared on the world's largest social media platform, which is Facebook. Yes, it is the world's largest. I know all you TikTokers out there want to believe that yours is the largest, but Facebook still is. Now, we're also streaming live at youtube.com/Sudbury News. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, all that stuff on the channel, hitting the bell, liking the video, commenting. We'll do our best to get your comments up on the screen for those watching, read for those listening. Will then be found on demand there, along with x.com/Sudbury News and Sudbury.news, which is our news aggregator, aggregating all the local news into one website, and it's our service to the community. It's Sudbury News' service to the community to provide that for the news outlets to be able to have their news shared and promoted, because we're want to promote local news here in the city because we can't do it on Facebook, which used to be the way to do it. So our website is there in answer to that. We have to work on it, though. We have to get it up. There's some glitches with it, and it's been left to its own, and now it needs some upgrading and needs some TLC. So looking into that right now. Speaking of that, I reached out to Connor LaRock to see if that's something that he might be able to help with, along with having him on the show. He says, yeah, he's ready and willing to come on. So maybe this week we'll have Connor LaRock on. He's the young and very energetic and very positive and very well-spoken, very successful young entrepreneur from Sudbury who has his company Social Rise, and he's been involved with trying to do his part to help with the homelessness situation in our city, and done a very good job in a short period of time. If you ask me, was able to rally the troops, do some fundraising, and just on his own without any particular help. Well, he reached out to people who then came on board, and they did it together because he's really good at doing stuff like that. Anyways, so yeah, Connor should be on the show at some point, either this week or next week. And we're going to have this part 2 interview with Frank Krupe of Road Surface Recycling. It was a great interview last week. It was kind of glitchy on my end, all kinds of problems and issues while he was on. But we still had a great conversation. I was able to get the point across of what his situation was coming to the city with an innovative, very cost-effective, state-of-the-art way of doing road recycling. And just like our city usually does when it touches anything, it made a debacle out of it. And they basically didn't pay him, kicked him out of the city. And then he went on to obviously win an award for how good his work was in Durham region with the very prestigious Roads Association in Canada, which Sudbury is even a member of. Go figure. So not sure why his road recycling wasn't good enough for Sudbury, but it was for Durham region, and he won an award for that. So we'll have part 2 of that conversation with him on the show at some point this week, so stay tuned for that. We'll dive in with a little bit of weather, and then we'll be back and we'll have a little chat. So stay tuned. It's going to be a great show, I promise, or your money back. And as usual, Sudbury weather brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca. Currently, it is minus 19. Yes, minus 19. Feels like minus 26 out there. Currently, it is sunny. And today we can expect a mix of sun and cloud with a 30% chance of flurries late this afternoon. Wind will be gusting to 50 this morning. High of minus 6 today, wind chill minus 29 in the morning, minus 14 in the afternoon. There is a risk of frostbite. Was it ever cold last night? Right around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I was outside feeding the chickens, and my hands felt like they're just going to fall off. And it was only maybe minus 18 without the wind chill at that moment. The cold is just crazy these days. It's a different type of cold. It's a chemical cold, which Dane from geoengineeringwatch.org explains what's going on with the geoengineering and the chemical spraying into our atmosphere that causes this type of situation. That's why it feels colder than it actually is. So anyways, we'll have more on that. If you're like, what is that? We should have an update from him very shortly, maybe tomorrow. Maybe we'll have a little segment with Geoengineering Watch tomorrow. Tonight it'll be partly cloudy, 30% chance of flurries this evening. Wind will be gusting up to 50 kilometers per hour this evening. Low of minus 9, wind chill minus 16. And then tomorrow, like I said, it'll be minus 1 will be your high, mainly cloudy for tomorrow. Wednesday, they're saying it's going to be sunny with a high of +3. That's what they're saying right now. Wednesday, sunny, +3. Thursday, +3, partly cloudy. Friday, +4 and cloudy. Saturday, 7 and raining, 30% chance of rain on Saturday. 6 and a mix of sun and cloud on Sunday. So starting Wednesday, well, even tomorrow, -1, like that's very mild. And then in the pluses all the way through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, starting at +3 and going up to +7 Saturday and Sunday. That is your forecast. Brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca. We'll be back with news headlines, your comments, and more right after this. Yeah, and here we are, and we're just checking in with a few of you, getting the show underway. Sorry, we got off to a bit of a late start this morning. We got Marianne here. She's in Barrie, and it's cold. And it's cold here as well. Good morning to you, Marianne. Belinda, good morning. Can you pray in a pew? Oh, sorry, yes. You can pray in a pew. Okay, in pajamas or in traffic. Or you can pray in a pew, in pajamas, in traffic. God doesn't need a location. He just needs an invitation, for sure. That's 100%, 100%. Now, here's the thing. After you are done praying, which prayer is, it's a two-sided thing, right? So praying is us. Part of it is us kind of saying, hey, I'm here. This is what's going on. These are the things I'm concerned about. I could really use a hand, with some of this stuff. Are you able to? Is it part of what I need to learn? That's why. Can you remove this, or at least give me the strength to get through this, whatever it is that I'm struggling with? These other people that I got that I love, like, I'm really concerned about them. Is there any way, shape, or thing you can do to help them in any way, shape, or form? Now, so the other side of that is it's a two-way conversation, right? So if you're open to what's coming back to you, if you actually are asking for answers, then you should expect them, because they can come back, and they will in some form. If you're open to that, they will come back to you, because it's a two-way conversation. Should be anyways. Some people pray as if it's a one-way, and okay, I'm not judging or anything, but who are you praying to? Are you praying to someone who's just sitting there with, I don't know, tape over their mouth, or, I don't know, but if you're praying, expecting some type of action, then there's a being on the other side that's capable of actions and capable of communicating, and wants to, as far as I'm concerned, communicate with you as well. And so we may then be guided, directed to do more, to become more, and that's all I got to say about that. And so just be open to answers. And I'm talking to myself as well, because a lot of times I think my prayers are pinging off the ceiling, right? But they're not. And it's all up to me to have that belief and faith, if you will. And I have enough in terms of experience or experiences that I should never struggle with that anymore. But I'm human, and things do happen, and I'm sure people can relate. But thanks for that, Belinda. That was very, very good. As usual, Marianne, liked and shared, yes, appreciated. And good morning, Belinda. Oh, you're okay. Yes, these are where I can't see, where people are kind of chatting back and forth. But that's great that you guys are having conversations with each other. That's what it's all about, So Hazel, good morning to you. Bingo, good morning. Y'all. Morning, Northern Hillbilly. Good morning, people. Can you see now why you should prepare? Yes. You got your Iran thing going on over there. You know what I'm saying? And that could escalate into other things, which we're thinking is inevitable. Whenever the economy is where it's at, that's usually where we expect a full-scale, all-out war. That's what we're expecting if it's history's repeating itself, and the economy is pointing to the fact that they need that to reset everything. So expect a large-scale war at some point. I've been preparing for a few years now. Purette looking, oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Purette. Yeah, it's just the way, it's just what I picked this morning to wear based on our weekend. We went away down south. Northern Hillbilly says, I know their plan and I'll avoid it the best I can. Thanks for the comments, guys. I appreciate it. Grand Rising. That's Monique. And Larry, good morning to you. Also got Brian here. Good morning. Top of the morning. Sudbury Patriots. And Jerome, good morning. Truth-seeking troopers. Monique. John Levy on YouTube. Very interesting guy. John Levy. Shout out for I still have to check that out. I think you might have mentioned that at one time before. John Levy. Have to look that up. Yeah, giving thumbs up apparently on YouTube is a thing and helps the video get out there. So if you want to give thumbs up, we really appreciate that, and share it with whoever and however. I noticed, I think it was Denise that shared it on some of the Facebook groups. I'm sure some of you as well have done that, and I appreciate that, because I guess that's one way to get on Facebook, is just share the YouTube video and then let everyone know it's on YouTube. Or not on Facebook anymore, possibly. I don't know. But thanks for doing that. Yeah. Yep, for sure. Lots of stuff going on here. I'm just going to be moving on. I don't know about that, Northern Hillbilly, but who knows? So he was saying basically that because of the show or whatever, that's why CKLU did well this year with their Pledge Week. But I do believe many people are behind CKLU. They really appreciate what CKLU is and everything that they are, what they've been to the community all of these years. And Andrew, good morning to you. But yeah, I apologize for being a little bit late this morning. It's my doing, so wasn't anything to do with technology. We went down to Southern Ontario this weekend and went down for church activity, and then at the same time thought we'd take in the Megadeth concert, because that's what we do. Go to church and then go see Megadeth afterwards. That kind of sums up my life in some strange way. So it was in London. Great concert, by the way. It's their final tour. They were with Anthrax and Exodus. Went with my brother. It was one of his favorite bands growing up. One of my favorite as well. That was his favorite band for a period of time, so I got the tickets for him and went with him. Good morning, Evelyn. Thanks for being on. But the one thing I did notice was, they got the freeways down there. You got the 3 lanes, so you can go faster or whatever and get to where you're going quicker. But I can't help but, just notice that. And Liette, good morning to you from Collingwood. We went right by you to go down to London. And anyways, so noticed, I think we need to be doing a better job of educating people about what the lanes kind of are for, and the faster lanes, the furthest on the left. The middle lane is kind of like the medium, the drivers and then the right lane is going slower. And if you really want to kind of drive slower, you go in the far right lane, but for some strange reason, people just pick a lane that I like this lane, I'm going to drive in it, and they just go whatever speed they want. I just don't understand. There's no real, is that not the way it works anymore? Is it, you can just pick whatever lane you go in and that's it? No one understands what the reason is for the 3 lanes? And even worse, when there was a bit of a blizzard, we went into the concert, it was cold, but no snow, hardly. Everything was bare and dry. Came out, it was a snowstorm. So we're driving on the 401 back to Brampton where we were staying. And it was snow-covered roads. And again, it just magnifies itself when people are not even aware of how the lanes work in the first place. And then you add snow to it. Just makes for frustrating driving, I guess you can say. I got my snow tires on. I'm pretty confident with my driving, but down in southern Ontario, not everyone has snow tires. I'm sure it's like less than 50%. So, they're driving really cautiously and whatever for good reason, but pull over to the right lane, Don't drive exactly the same speed as the guy beside you for 40 kilometers. I just don't get it. Slow down a little bit and get behind the guy beside you, or speed up a little bit and get in front of him. Like what? What is that? Again, right? Is it just lack of education? I don't understand. Okay, so that's that, my little rant. Couple news stories I just wanted to cover here this morning so the first one coming from our news aggregator and coming from the Sudbury Star, I believe, was Greater Sudbury says it's making progress on the plan to end homelessness. So I was really glad to hear that we're making progress on ending homelessness, which is our goal, the city's goal by 2030. So in less than 4 years, right, we're supposed to end homelessness here in Greater Sudbury. The city will reach its goal if by 2030 homelessness is rare, brief, and non-reoccurring. So I guess they changed the definition of what it is to be homeless so we can reach it. I guess that's smart, right? It's like they do at the federal level. If you can't keep a law, change it, right? That's the best way to do it. Change the definition of it if you can't keep it. Or if you're having trouble making money and keeping your business dealings a secret, just change the law so that way you don't have to do that anymore and you can just make money without it being a conflict of interest. So that's a really good thing. I'm proud that they're doing that. And I'm not sure if that's exactly what the city's doing exactly. It's just kind of a weird subheading. Good morning, Vin. Thanks for being on. The city will reach its goal of eradicating homelessness, right? If by 2030 homelessness is rare, brief, and non-reoccurring. Other than that, we're not going to reach it. So that you can find that full story on our news aggregator, Sudbury.news, and it's coming from SudburyStar.com. Anyways, so that's that. And then you got a couple other stories, which there was a lady struck and killed, unfortunately, on Paris Street Friday morning in the wee hours between 6:30 and 7 a.m. They've arrested a 55-year-old man, I believe, and the lady who was struck and unfortunately succumbed to her injuries was 42, the young age of 42. Now, it was a hit and run. He fled the scene. They looked on the camera. They got the license plate. And from that, they knew where this person's residence was. They went there, they made the arrest. They're not releasing any names at the moment because it hasn't gone through the courts or something like that. I'm not aware of the procedures, why they can't release names, when they can, when they can't. So condolences go out to the young lady who unfortunately perished due to that incident on Paris Street on Friday morning. And the other story in Sudbury Star that we wanted to look at this morning was there was an interesting incident, was it last week, where a Sudbury family went to Toronto on a school trip, basically. And where is it here? North York. They were in the North York Hotel for like a basketball tournament or something. They had 2 children. So it's a husband and wife with 2 children in a hotel room. And they get a knock at the door early in the morning, and the guy had a bag. So it looked like he was a food delivery person. And so they opened the door, and this person tried to get in their hotel room, tried to break in, barge in. And anyways, so he was able to keep him out. And they have a man in custody who they feel is that person, taken from the cameras there in the hotel. And isn't that, crazy? Can you imagine being in the hotel room, your door, knock on the door, and someone then tries to break in your room? Anyways, so that happened recently. And then the hotel said just before that, there was a 14-year-old girl doing the same thing. This man was in his 40s as well. But then there was an incident earlier in the week or just before that where a 14-year-old girl was knocking on a door and then trying to get into one of the rooms. So I hope this isn't a trend, and pretty scary for those Sudburyans in North York. Very worried about their children, obviously, in the room. So here we have, as I mentioned, the federal government just changing their laws if they don't agree with them, right? And just recently, the conflict of interest, they're trying to change the act so that way Mark Carney, because he's very entrenched with Brookfield still, he has all of his investments. They're supposed to be in a blind trust. Remember, everyone, how laughable that was? And we allowed him to become the prime minister with all these conflicts of interest. And because everyone had their elbows up and whatever, they just turned a blind eye. And now he's here. So now it is a conflict of interest, but instead of being accountable to the laws that exist, they just go ahead and change them. So that way they're not accountable to the laws that existed previously, because they can just change the law and now they're keeping the law, right? So they say, no, we're law abiding. I know we changed the law so that way we begin keeping the law, but that's what you can do when you're prime minister. That's what you can do when you are in power and you have all the authority to be able to do things like that. So we have an MP here who's just explaining how all this is working for Mark Carney, and take it from here.
In Mark Carney's speech in Davos, we heard him promote respect for international rules of law and global norms, while doing exactly the opposite here in Canada. Because right now, through the Budget Implementation Act, he has proposed giving his cabinet ministers the authority to exempt any individual, business, or organization from almost any federal law or regulation, with the sole exception of the Criminal Code. And under this proposal, a minister would be allowed to keep secret any information about those exemptions that the minister personally decides would be inappropriate for the public to know. So we are told to respect the law internationally, while here at home, the Liberal government seeks the power to secretly decide, who must follow the law and who doesn't. This is an extraordinary level of double talk. And as a former finance professional, I find it equally troubling that Mark Carney is deliberately playing with the definitions of capital investment, breaking from long-standing international standards in order to deceive Canadians about the true size of the operating deficit. You cannot preach respect for international rules and standards abroad while undermining them here at home. So the questions are simple. After this grand speech, will he respect the rule of law in Canada and retract the proposal that allows cabinet ministers to secretly exempt entities from almost any federal law? Will he respect international financing standards in our own public accounts and stop hiding the true deficit from Canadians? You know, Mark Carney says that our strength comes from our global network of allies. And I agree, friendly allies matter, but the true power is also of our own making. Power comes from a country where businesses can access permits quickly and access financing, where we rapidly develop our natural resources instead of wasting another year, where military announcements actually result in procurement that builds manufacturing and defense capacity here in Canada, where there's a real housing strategy to reverse the collapse in housing starts that we're actually seeing right now in the GTA in Vancouver, where Canadian companies invest here at home and not take their funds abroad, where our young people can afford a home and groceries so they can build a future here at home, and where our communities are safer and criminals are not repeatedly released back onto the streets. Canadians want words backed by action. They've been asking for jobs, homes, and security here at home. So if Mark Carney really wants to build a powerful Canada, where is the urgency to meet the very real challenges that Canadians are facing right now here at home?
All right, so build Canada strong, right? Remember that was, looks like that's Sandra Kobina, who we just heard from, talking about Mark Carney. Just change the goalpost. If you can't score, you can't get the ball in the net or the puck in the net, just move the goalpost and you'll score every time, right? So that's the way they do things. And even their slogan of elbows up is like that just shows you who's behind this. Elbows up is you get a penalty for doing that in hockey. So then you're going to be short-handed and you're going to get scored on. So I don't know if you want to have your elbows up. You can get a game misconduct for that if you get your elbows up to the head and someone gets a concussion. You can be suspended actually for that. So not only will the other team get a power play score, but you get suspended and then put your team, down one guy. So not a good kind of slogan to have, really, or it just shows that you're dirty and you're corrupt. And hey, and if you got the power to change the rules of hockey, right? Hey, elbows up is no longer a penalty. Oh, only we're allowed to do it, though. Only our team can do elbows up from now on. It's a penalty for you, but not for us, right? That's great. That's the great thing of having absolute power, where you can be as corrupt as you want. And in the face of your whole country and the public, just change the laws and you're doing no wrong. But you're not changing laws that are going to benefit all Canadians. I'm still subject to laws that are old school, and conflict of interest laws are still going to apply to me and everything I do, but not to you. And you're able to do that. And so that's great, right? I think we need more people like this in power that can just do whatever they want and get rich off your money. And we keep voting them in. I think that's great. I think that says a lot about Canada and Canadians. I think we need to keep our elbows up because our leader will just change the rules for us if we're on his side. Or is that true? Just for him. Okay. It's not really helping you. It's just helping him. But that's good though, right? Because you want to have a billionaire banker get even richer off your tax dollars so you can feel good somehow for some reason and you don't even understand why. As long as you're wearing the jersey, right? It's all the time we got for now on Sudbury News Talk on CKLU 96.7 FM. Thanks for tuning in. Whether you're on the radio, whether you're streaming online, whether you're watching us on YouTube, either way, we appreciate you. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back same time, same place on the same platforms, God willing, tomorrow. Remember to stay aware. Like, share, take care. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU. We'll see you tomorrow. Ciao for now.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.